All right, let's talk about a totally new way of thinking about artificial intelligence in higher education. This isn't about chasing the latest shiny app or some new piece of software. Nope, this is about building something that lasts, a responsible, secure, and incredibly powerful new asset for your entire institution.
And this quote, it really nails it. Let's just reframe this whole conversation for a minute. Stop thinking about AI as just another tool you go out and buy. Instead, I want you to imagine you're onboarding a brand new digital colleague, someone who's ready to join your team, learn your specific culture, and really get to work.
If you think about it, most of the AI tools people are using right now live completely outside of your institution's control, right? They need public logins, your data gets shipped off to who knows where, and their behavior is totally generic. Well, this approach completely flips that model on its head. We're talking about creating a private institutional asset that you actually own and control.
So let's just lay it out, side by side. Those public tools, they're one size fits all. And worse, they often treat your data as their product, which is a huge risk. But a private AI, it's the complete opposite. It's trained specifically on your institution's values and rules. All your data stays right where it belongs, with you. This transforms AI from a risky gamble into a secure, incredibly valuable asset.
Okay, so if we're hiring a digital colleague, how in the world do we get them up to speed? Well, the process is actually going to feel incredibly familiar. You're going to train it just like you would any new person joining your team.
The onboarding is really a simple three-step process. First, you give it knowledge. You upload things like your policy manuals, style guides, even sample reports. Second, you set the ground rules. You use something called system prompts to define its core behavior. Think of this as its permanent job description, the things it must always do. And finally, number 3, you define its communication style with real examples, so its tone always reflects your institution.
And here's the real game changer. Once you've taught your AI teammate these core principles, that's it. It performs its tasks with perfect consistency every single time. No need for retraining, no bad habits to unlearn, and absolutely no deviating from the rules you've set. It behaves exactly as you designed it to, by design.
So you've onboarded your new hire. Now, where do they actually work? Well, to keep everything safe and organized, don't picture some big open-plan office. Instead, I want you to imagine a building with a bunch of separate, secure offices where each one is designed for a very specific purpose.
So let's take a look inside this building. We set up 3 totally distinct, isolated environments. First, there's the administration office. This is for your leadership team, handling things like governance, policy, and compliance. Then you have the instruction office, which is for faculty. It's filled with tools built to support how they teach. And then there's my favorite, the AI Discovery Lab. This is a completely separate, safe sandbox where your students can learn, experiment, and really build things.
And this, right here, is the absolute bedrock of this entire architecture. All of your sensitive institutional data, everything from admin reports to faculty research to student assignments, it all stays local and secure, right on your server. It's not getting scraped, it's not getting sold, and it is definitely not being used to train some other company's AI model. It is yours, and it stays yours. Period.
But that brings up a really good question, right? If all the data stays put on our server, how does the heavy-duty AI thinking part actually happen without sending our stuff all over the internet? Let's walk through that.
The technical term for it is inference processing, which is really just a fancy way of saying doing the AI's math. Here's how we keep it secure. Your local server sends an anonymous request to a specialized GDPR-compliant data center. That center does the calculation, sends the answer back to you, and then, and this is the key part, it immediately forgets your data ever existed. It's built on the highest standard of data privacy in the world.
What's so amazing about this secure method is that it gives you the freedom to connect to all kinds of different AI models. You can use powerful open source ones or cutting-edge commercial ones, all without ever compromising your institution's data security. You really get the best of both worlds, incredible flexibility and rock-solid security.
Now let's zoom in on that third office we mentioned, the Student AI Discovery Lab, because this is where we go beyond just using AI as a simple tool. This is where we start building real, lasting AI literacy for the students you're preparing for the future. Because, let's be real, true AI literacy isn't just teaching students how to get a cool answer from the latest trending app. If we're going to truly prepare them for the world they're graduating into, they have to understand how these systems actually work, the good, the bad, and the ugly, their foundations, their limitations, and all the ethical questions that come with them.
So inside the lab, students learn these critical skills. They're not just prompting an AI, they're learning how to actually shape its behavior.
They're not just getting an answer, they're learning how to spot and fix things like bias and hallucinations. They literally go from being just users of a tool to being critical thinkers who can build their own purpose-driven AI to solve a real-world problem.
So when you put all of this together, the secure setup, the custom institutional training, and this deep focus on AI literacy, you haven't just bought a piece of software. You've actually built a true institutional asset.
And that brings us right back to where we started. You have a new teammate, it's been onboarded with your institution's unique knowledge, it's working inside your secure environment, and it is following your rules, consistently and reliably. It is officially ready to get to work.
So, that really just leaves one last question for you to think about. Now that you have this incredibly capable, perfectly trained new colleague on your team, what's the first big problem you're going to ask it to solve?